hanging out. Just another night of the week. Or to be more specific, it's a Tuesday Eve. Got some ideas that just might intrigue. You should come on by tonight. We're spilling the beans. We tested that back mic, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, there's two of us. Welcome to Spilling the Beans, everyone.
Just two beans.
Yeah. We are missing Abel. He's on the road, spilling his beans elsewhere. But I think he's tuning in. So, Abel, what's up?
You're on the other side of the bean.
Yeah. And he is missed. Sorry, we're a little bit. What was that?
There's a bean can.
On the other side of the bean can. Yes. Yes, he is. Yeah, that's good. Like YouTube is the can. This podcast is the can.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone else are beans too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So, yeah, so we're going to do something a little different today. We have a bit of a different setup. It's hard shoes to fill without Abel. So we figured get a little bit interactive with some things we're doing. The title for this this podcast is kind of show and tell.
And who knows what else?
And who knows what else. We do tend to digress in our conversations. So let's see if I can do this.
Yeah, we're gonna test.
We're gonna test out our little switcher. So you should see. All right, great. So this is gonna be kind of our little area. I'm gonna show off a couple things. And we'll go back.
Yeah.
All right, fancy. So we're gonna show off a few things, and I think go from there.
Yeah.
We'll use that display that you saw as a little display for Kaylee's stuff. I'll show you that piece of furniture that you saw is a recent thing of mine. So Justin, what's up? And yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll show some ideas for that. Kaylee will show a few things. Figure we show some of the ideas that we have. For you, what's it gonna be? What are we looking at?
So I'm gonna show a couple different paintings that I've done using like different kind of processes and different like kind of mediums.
Yeah. And maybe give some insight, ideas, inspirations, and stuff to it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, great. Well, we'll use my table back there for it. So yeah, I guess I'll give a little preface to it.
Yeah.
And I'll put this stunning image of it. Nice, there it is. It doesn't look like too much right now. It still needs to be painted, and it's really not quite done yet. But
the table itself almost looks like an optical illusion for some reason.
It does, yeah. So yeah. Let's see. I'll go back to this camera. So what you saw was basically, and that's over there. Actually, we've got a couple cameras setting up. So that's like that area in the back. So what I was trying to do was make a bunch. I just said one day I need another work table, like something that floats.
Drawing.
I want to draw on it, but I also want to use it for,
like
just a workbench kind of. But I want it to be portable. I'm like obsessed with casters.
And this isn't the first, so this is like another, like you've made like several work tables before.
Yeah, or at least made. Like I think all of the work tables we have here were just they're huge, a couple of them, and the first thing I wanted to do is put casters on them.
Yep.
Right. Reinforce them, and just make them portable because we're always moving things around in here. And same with that back table there. I did the same thing, and so I needed something like that. I wanted just another shelf for the back area too, just something to hold, and another drawing platform. So there we are. Yeah, so I took it. So it's basically a bunch of pieces of my father's furniture. My dad passed away in 2020, so I acquired. A lot of us acquired all of his stuff, and so we have all kinds of great stuff from him. But this was furniture of his that I really wasn't utilizing. But there was some great wood in there. Recycling, trying to recycle in a more positive way. I think I'll hop over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just show.
Great way to repurpose old furniture.
Yeah. John, I know, is a huge fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, let us know if vocals are off or anything like that.
And Connor's making his way over to that area right now, and there he is.
Okay, can you see me all right?
Yep.
All right, great. So yeah, as I was saying, I don't want to give away too much of the reveal. But yeah, so it's on Caster. So what these are here,
very mobile.
These pieces are let's see if they can hear it. So these pieces down here, these are dinner tray tables that my dad always had. We used 2 of them, and then we had 2 like in the corner doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, does that look okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I took those, and then I had this. My dad had this awesome, like, it was actually a real pain to take apart, and it was very, very heavy. A really nice bookshelf, very, very heavy. I'm pretty sure it's just particle board, but super heavy and super durable. And so I did like kind of this cool painting. You'll probably be able to see it a little bit better. Kind of like just a neat little thing I did with a bunch of spray paint that we had left over. Neat designs and such, which I think I'm going to redo. I'm going to redo a lot of this because I'm also really into the idea of making it kind of an art piece. It looks kind of different, you know. These bottom pieces are other pieces of shelving that I had, and then you'll notice this actuator on the back, and that's, I think, the coolest part of this project. I have had these actuators where I'm like, I need to do something with them. I've done pedal boards that were too heavy, and the actuator would actually make the motion. What an actuator does is it's a device that when you attach like an electrical power source, a battery, in this case it's 12 volts, so it works most efficiently with a 12-volt battery, but I have a 9-volt. It's a machine, so with gears on the inside, and it's basically it forces energy and just pushes, in this case, a rod forward, and when you reverse the polarity, it retracts. The rod retracts. So I'll show you a little demonstration. Okay. All right. So, and actuators are really cool. I mean, I imagine like Tony Stark, you know, Iron Man, like everything looks like it's just a bunch of tiny micro actuators and things that make things move into others, you know, transformer kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really, really cool, you know?
Yeah.
The ones that I've bought are like very clunky and big, but I think really neat. So I have a 9-volt battery, and I'll also show you the switch I made for this.
Oh yeah, the switch is.
Yeah, the switch is, so it's still in its production. It's almost done, but electronics are a big thing I really want to hook up. So this is like a switch. So when I switch it one way, it goes up. When I switch it the other way, the table goes down, and you'll see what I mean by that. And really the idea for this is, you know, it's a workbench, but also it's a drawing table,
it's like convertible kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It can be both.
Multi-purpose.
So let me demonstrate it a little bit. So again, imagine I'm clicking this button to go one way or another. And what this does is actually, it might be tough to see in the camera, but there's actually leads on here, and based on which way this is put, and then there's a stop, the polarity is switched. And that's where, I hope I'm saying that right. I am a real novice with electricity.
That sounds right to me.
But and so same idea with the battery. I'll switch negative and positive, and the device will retract. So let's see how this looks. So I think it's going down, meaning this will be propped up. There it goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's really good. Like
cool.
Artists, it's very helpful. You could probably hear that too. Artists really like or draw, people who illustrate or paint or anything, you know, having an incline is really nice.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so but being able to control the incline so easily, I think is even better. Um, and even just the slightest incline, this is pretty nice. And now you might figure like it starts to become forward heavy, so that's where I put in these door pieces that I got from Ace Hardware,
Oh yeah.
Luke. So I can get a little more of an incline. This battery's running out, and this is a 12 volt.
Whoa.
But there we are.
That looks so cool.
And it can go even further. I could push it a little more. It does start to become more top heavy. So what I'm thinking of getting is maybe a hinged piece that comes down, or maybe even two.
To create like another doorstop kind of thing.
Another doorstop would be good, and it's pretty stable. It's really not that bad, but it'd be nice to have a little more stability on this.
Didn't you want to put those boards too to make like the diamond shelves? Are you still gonna do that?
Say that again?
Those boards, like
yeah, so that's the art install piece of this. All right, and so yeah, so I just take the battery, switch it around, and it goes back.
That's so cool.
It is neat. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And so with 12 volts, which is what this power adapter does, right here, it'll go much quicker, you know, and I'll have a little more control of it. It won't just be the switching of a battery.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. The big thing with this also, like when I was making it, it looks pretty crazy. You still have a pretty decent view of it?
Oh, absolutely.
So it looks pretty wild. I want to fill a lot of this stuff in, but so I started looking at it with like this idea of like this kind of geometric art. And then I was looking at it more and I was like, this kind of looks like a valley or a hall, you know, like looking down there.
Yeah.
You know? So I have these pieces, these slabs that I want to do. So I really also like the idea of making something something useful, like something you can utilize, but I don't know, making it also like an art piece, you
like
know?
pragmatic, but also like like an installation kind of.
Yeah,
like a pragmatic installation.
Exactly, yeah. And I love the idea of that. So of course I want to like paint this all different kinds of colors and and you know, but I have an idea to have it to make this kind of like it sounds a little wild, but like to make this kind of a telescope or like a diamond type thing, you know, like that you look through, you know what I mean? To like maybe and again, this is kind of metaphorical. I don't get too wild with things usually, but at the same time though, you can get there. You can use your imagination and have fun with it, especially when it comes to meditation and when you're just by yourself, you know?
Yeah.
I envision a telescope, you know, if I want to see an idea or like enter a certain place or like plane, you know what I mean? And I'm having trouble getting there, you know, or in a mood.
Yep.
Maybe I look through this, you know, and get there, you know, or a point of meditation, you know, a point of focus, a point of a reminder, maybe even a charm, you know?
Yeah.
And why not have like a ton of charms everywhere and a ton of these kind of sacred, you know, sacred things that are yours. They're sacred to you. It means something. This is all furniture from my dad, you know, and I want to paint it my own way.
Yeah.
And do more paintings on top of it and be more creative with it. And so already it's kind of an art installation, and then add my cool diamond stuff and whatnot in there. So yeah, that's to come. This is my most recent project, but it's almost done. It really doesn't have too much except for the fun. The one issue is I like to utilize spray painting, and I'm trying to get better at that. The one issue is I can't fit it out the door. It's too wide without disassembling everything. So I've been like getting better craft paints and stuff like that. Kaylee, do you want me to put it down so that you can put some paintings on it? Like when we switch over?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. But yeah, no, this is it. This is my most recent thing. And I think I had mentioned, and again, if anybody else has an idea for actuators, I have an extra one.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me what to do with it.
Yeah.
Or what you want to do. And right here is. I'll show that later, maybe if we have time. But I have like a pedal board that I planned on using it for. But
oh yeah.
it just gets ridiculously heavy.
Mm-hmm.
This needs the weight in order so that it's not so top heavy. So yeah, let me put this back down, Kaylee. If you want to switch it back over to yourself.
Yeah.
And
do you have the remote? We can pan that down to show that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm just gonna widen it, like try to see if we can utilize it for.
Yeah, and it only took you like a day or so to make that, right?
Yeah, it did. It didn't take long before I kind of figured out it. Oh. Yeah, it did. It didn't take long before I kind of figured out, what I wanted to do. Especially like as I kept going, there were a few things. You were here, like I disassembled things, and I was like, no, this isn't right. This isn't right.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what wood we have left, because we really do try not to. There we go. That should be good.
And sometimes that's like the most fun about like, oh, Justin said kaleidoscope vibes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of fun to like go through the process of like making it not quite like the right way that you're looking for at first, because then that helps you see like, oh, like, okay, how is this going to be functional in the way I'm intending it to?
Right.
So it's like part of the process to kind of like go through like what works and what doesn't, which can be like really, I mean, it can be frustrating too, but that's what ends up making like the effort all the more like worthwhile at the same time too.
Well said. Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it's the things that come quickest. I'm gonna make my way back over there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I will. I like jingles. These kinds of things. I'm also setting the mic up for you, Kaylee, so that when you come over here.
Yeah, jingles. You come up with jingles so fast. You're always doing like little projects of like repurposing furniture, or like even like the projector table, or like even all the chairs that you've like reupholstered and added a little like flair to them.
Yeah, and those are all like kind of art installations too in themselves. Folk art, I think, in a sense.
Yeah.
If I were to resell them, it wouldn't be so much like this is a great chair. You can start. It might not be like a great chair.
Yeah.
I think they are. Yeah, I do try to make sure they're
comfy.
comfortable.
Yeah.
The
memory foam one.
Yeah, the reupholstering, I really went to town on that one. That one came out really nice. But yeah, no, I think it's there's room for even those who like there's, I don't know, you could say for saying like even Hank Hill gets creative.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he finds his creativity in his woodwork and his carpentry. Ideas. It's ideas. That's what it all is.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes people feel hindered because they say like, oh, I'm not creative, but like say they make really good food, like that's an art, like say they're like Hank Hill, do like woodworking and like stuff like that. That's an art. And like people you think of like creative and you think like visual art, like painting, drawing, and then like music or theater or stuff like that, but like there are so many other avenues that you can express your creativity in,
and it doesn't have to be classical art, in that way. There's really some, and then there are those who may just not see it that way, and they say no, no interest, which is fine too. But I bet you could find something about their craft or about something that they do, which is just, you know what I mean? It's centered, it's there, and there's like an art to what they do, or some kind of creative thing. And so to move over for something less, I guess like utilitarian, right? Is that the right word to use? Like a table, a bench, or furniture, paintings. I mean, for you, what is if we can tap into what you kind of get into when you want to start a painting.
Mm-hmm.
You have, I mean, yeah, this is just a taste. What folks can see is just a taste of the can, you know, of a larger canvas of paintings that line this wall, and most of
Mm-hmm.
them yours. And then in your area, walls also just lined with awesome, cool paintings.
Yeah.
What is, what is it about painting specifically that you have, like, that's like looks like one of your main mediums, you know?
I think it started kind of because I'm not, and I know you would argue that it's just practice, but I'm like naturally not great at drawing, which I guess you could say for like painting too, but like I have a hard time. I can visualize something, but I have a hard time recreating it as I see in my head with like pencil on paper or pen on paper or whatever. You
Mhm.
know, it always comes out a little more like surreal. So I think when I started painting, I was really like drawn to that. No pun intended. Or maybe it was.
Oh.
I was more drawn to that because there was more freedom in like it does. You don't have to draw something or like make something intentional. You know, I remember taking an art class in college, and it was mostly like painting, but it was so frustrating and like disheartening because the instructor kept saying like, and it was more of like the discipline side of it, I guess.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, which is a whole other thing, and I completely respect it. But like there wasn't really room for like interpretation. It was like
anything
you have
abstract.
to, yeah,
It
you have
wasn't
to
an-
recreate
yeah.
this exact thing, and that's
Yeah.
it. And
Yep.
that was so like I was like, but like what about like all these abstract artists and surreal artists and all these other things, you know? So once I like really let myself get into painting, it was so liberating because a lot of the times I didn't have like something in my head specific that I was trying to create. It was mostly just like I'm gonna pick a couple colors that I like, and I'm just gonna, it's like a subconscious kind of output of like whatever you're feeling or just
Yeah.
like
Yep.
whatever,
Yep.
and it was very freeing to just have that medium that didn't like have to be anything, and as I got better with it, I started to kind of like, could create like what I was visualizing, you know what I mean? Through like the practice of doing it like more and more,
Right.
but I think just the freedom and also that it's more like tactile and that like you can use like paint layering,
Mm-hmm.
just like I would just dump paint on a canvas and dump more paint on top of it. And like that's why I like the pour paint so much.
Sure.
Because you can just layer them and layer them. And like at first I had so many paintings that just came out as like mud because, you have to like mix them certain ones and certain ones just ends up like a gray.
Well, it turns out you
mixed
have to
up
learn. You realize like, oh, I do have to know
some of the
the
discipline of it
properties,
and color
and
theory and all that kind of stuff. To a
exactly.
degree, yeah.
Yeah, and it only helps, right? So there's this idea of becoming a master, and then
Mhm.
going back to the beginner's mind.
Yeah.
And some say it's like this, it's in that chaos, that beginner's mind that you just need.
Mhm.
You need that looseness to go into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stay away from that rigidness that it's in the, like, it's mentioned a lot, Zen mind, beginner's mind, but also like
Mhm.
Zen in the art of archery, or in all kinds of sports and everything, and
Yeah.
any kind of thing you're trying to learn.
Mhm.
After you've done the discipline part, make sure you return to the beginner's mind part,
Yeah.
that free, open, boom. And it's like you didn't want to leave that beginner's mind. You're like,
Mhm.
but still you run into things where you're like, oh,
But
these
I
are all
want- yeah.
becoming gray
Yeah.
mud pies. I have
Yeah.
to like figure out, I have to do some testing.
Mhm.
And I think there's something to that, because you are almost learning the hard way in one sense, but there's like a struggle in that learn, and it's your own like lesson plan almost that you've given yourself. So your craft is actually like it becomes almost your own styles. You can, I think that's where,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
these genuine or unique styles are sometimes
Mhm.
created.
Absolutely. And I think it helps you be more forgiving to yourself too when things don't come out like how you expected them to or pictured them to, because you realize like, oh, I am still experimenting. Like, yeah, this may be like a muddy mess right now and not be anything of like what I was intending,
Mm-hmm.
but then sometimes like through learning that you realize, okay, now I know I need to use less of this color or less of that. But then also, like, sometimes there are like, like the happy accidents that's like, oh, somebody looks at it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is like, I see this in here,
Mm-hmm. The
and
Rorschach
yeah,
effect. Yeah.
yep.
Yep. Absolutely.
And just the fact that it's like very meditative to do to begin with, just like getting lost in the motion of like the brush strokes or just like the paint like pouring and like swirling together and
Having fun with that.
yeah,
Having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun too whenever you have someone over to paint, especially someone who doesn't know how to paint or doesn't paint, just simply doesn't paint. First thing they say is, I have no idea what to paint.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
But your response is always cool. It's like, oh, that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Paint, paint nothing. What does nothing look like?
Yeah.
Or experiment with the paint. See what different paints do.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny when people say that because then when they start painting, even if it's like subconscious and they don't quite like realize it at first, but they do have a picture in their head, even if like they don't realize it and it starts to like come together. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the times it can be like completely unintentional, but then at the end they're like, oh wow, I can't believe I just painted that.
Yeah. Oh, Laura said she loves when she gets to paint with you.
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really interesting thing, is seeing also, I think you get a kick out of seeing what people paint who have never painted. You know what I mean? It's almost like seeing their interpretation of what it is to paint, But also what's great is I sometimes painting can be tough for me, especially sit down painting sessions, because I have trouble sitting down. This is like the most you'll see me sit down, a lot of times. And even there, I wanted to just keep muddling in the back while you did this, but so I'll be going in and out or by the area, and the folks that you might have that you got to start painting, or not even coaxed, but said, we're gonna paint, and kind of got to paint. You've become kind of like the art teacher who doesn't, you're not giving any, you give some advice like, oh, this paint's really good with this. I love mixing these colors or whatever, but you're really you're just facilitating the canvases and the brushes. But I think there's still some wisdom though, the way you handle it. And by the time second or third time that I'm passing by, the people that are painting are like quiet at certain points, and they're into what they're doing, and they're trying to almost draw within the lines of their own paint, and they're doing just that, which is great. And then you have others who are like super excited, they jump right in, especially after the first time, because you don't have any pressure as to what they're painting.
And most people surprise themselves.
They do, and it's always a surprise to someone who isn't them, and you do get people that are critical to themselves for it, and it's kind of like a Rorschach test in a way, in a sense of saying like, and seeing their response to it, to something they just like, why get upset with yourself at something that you all admittedly said you don't do often, and this is just what came out, and it's a great thing. This is like it's just something. And like we said, some people just aren't into it. But do you want to set something up over there, and we'll like a couple of your art pieces? And I really enjoy Kaylee's art. If you look at the the two of ours. I like to keep things very symmetrical. But I really got into painting because of Kaylee. So yeah, let's switch this camera over.
Can you still see on this table?
I see pretty well. I can move the camera over too. And you've got that mic right there.
Oh yeah. Hello, microphone.
All right, let's see. Oh, these are lovely. Now, the one issue with this table is I can't move it after when it's been pushed up. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. So,
Can we see from there?
okay, let's do this.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you can pick it up and show it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll pull that mic out a little closer.
This over here?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Alright, what do we got here? Oh, yeah. So these...
And make sure you talk into the mic.
I know. Hello, microphone. So these are some older ones that I did that I really like. And these have a lot of the like layering that I like to do. So like this one has all cut out like weird cardboard pieces that I painted and then added on, and then just dumped a bunch of paint on here. I think I ended up putting water too to make the acrylic kind of blend together a little bit. And then another thing I like doing a lot is doing like ripping up the paint from the palettes and then using it to like, you know, kind of just create some kind of shape and like rip it up and put it in different ways. Connor likes this one a lot because he said it looks like a
primordial Simpsons character.
Almost like Marge Simpson or something.
Hold it up once more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks like at the bottom left, it kind of looks like Milhouse or his dad.
Oh, over here.
Yeah, right there, and it kind of looks like Homer's head with Marge's hair, like in the head, and yeah, it's like a primordial Simpson. It's like this is what was going through.
Yeah.
The early creators.
Me and Keith were talking about this one the other day too, and he said like this looks like a lighter person like sitting, or like a, you know, innocent looking kind of character, and then there's like their darkness kind of like peeking out behind them.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
like a hillside.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful.
And then I got really into painting with like, and then throwing like sand on to make like different textures. So this has got a sunflower that we grew and that I did over acrylic paint. And then there's like the sand underneath to give it a little bit of texture. And then I got really wacky for a while and started doing, because I remember Mickey showed me the guy that did like...
Just make sure the mic's a little bit closer, babe.
He would put like salt in watercolors to make like all these little like bubbles and stuff. And I didn't have any like regular salt, but I had a bunch of rock salt. So I kind of just like grinded that up.
Yeah, hold it still. I'm zooming in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So it makes it like sparkly, but then it also, because this is all acrylic paint, and I sprayed water on it too. I think I actually sprayed vinegar on it too to help break down the salt. And then the salt then breaks down the paint and gives it all these weird like little cracks in between it.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. This one went through like a few different iterations, I think. Where it's just like there's a lot of layers on there.
Yeah, that looks so cool.
And then you can see like the actual like grains of like the salt.
Pieces of salt. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like a weird kind of like planetary kind of thing, like in space.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's kind of a cosmic element to it, and then it also kind of looks like a head, you know?
Yeah.
Like kind of like
Absolutely.
Wow.
I love the like the neon
Yes.
too. That
Yep.
kind of like makes it really like pop out too, and it goes well with like the sparklies of all the rock salt.
Yeah. Yep.
And then these are just some pour paint ones. And this one I just did the pour paint.
Up, Mike.
This one I just did the pour paint.
Yep.
And then this one I did
Oh,
the
that's
pour
neat.
paint, but I think I did like your strategy of using like a string
Yeah. Yep.
and like little tools to kind of like drag the paint around
Yep.
and make it more kind of like veiny looking.
Yeah, hold it right there. Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Look at that. That looks kind of like a chasm or something, you know.
Yeah,
Bunch
and
of
you can see
spider
like
webs.
there's like depth like back there
Exactly,
and stuff.
yeah.
It's like that's what's huge with the layering is like if you
Oh, that's
especially with
great.
like because the pour paints dry really nice too. So you could do like a layer of like regular acrylic, which I think is what I did,
Yep.
and then do the pour paint on top, and then it really creates like the depth and stuff. Because the great thing about the pour paint is it doesn't like blend together like too much, so all the colors still kind of like pop out, which is nice.
Right. Right. Oh, that's gorgeous. Can you hold the other one up too? That's really nice too. That's gorgeous. Let me see if I can get. Oh man, yeah, that's cool. Hold
This
on.
one reminds me of like Swiss cheese,
Swiss cheese, yeah.
like moldy Swiss cheese.
Yep. Oh, that's beautiful though. That's really cool. It almost looks like Japanese art of the dragon in the bottom right.
Oh, over here?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And kind of like this
Yeah.
dancing dragon type. And like if you want, you can see all kinds of faces in it and the
Oh,
empty
yeah.
space. And you're really good. You're getting much better with like empty space. Like I'm finding all kinds of depth in your
Yeah.
paintings. You know what I mean? Depth that whether intentional or not, I think that it's becoming more intentional. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you have such cool like cosmic kind of again almost like primordial kind of like appeal to like your paintings.
Yeah.
And you've gotten really good. I don't know if you have anything over there, but like with your like showing of the gradients, you know, and
Oh.
you know, but that's one thing would you say that you're starting to get to really like pay attention to and master is
Mm-hmm.
you know your gradient work. Yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
stabilize that a bit more.
That and the negative space, because at first it was always my like I would always just want to like cover the whole canvas at
Right.
first, you know,
Right.
and it's like you don't always have to do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I like to like jump to.
Right, right.
But and these are just other pour paint ones,
Oh, let me see those. Let me zoom in there.
and I think they were actually like this.
Oh, they're kind of like
I poured like the paint on one, and then I pressed them together.
Yep.
And
oh, nice. Look at that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. The pour paint is a little deceiving though, because it makes it seem like I'm sure if you've seen like the videos, as soon as you pour it on, it does like all the swirlies when you pour two colors together.
Yep.
But I mean, maybe I'm just not working with like high quality ones, but you really do need some other
like base or
something, like even just like water just to
Yep.
help like move them along.
Yeah.
But there could be other ones that are, you know, different like mixtures that kind of do it more like instantaneously or like on its own.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks almost like a map.
Yeah.
Like you know, like what is that, cartography?
Mm-hmm.
Or topology?
Yeah, topographical.
Topographical. Yeah, it looks really neat, like a radioactive world or something, you know, like
I think a lot of the ones I do, like the surreal ones, end up kind of looking like abstract kind of surreal like landscapes.
Yeah, yep. Oh, that
Like-
looks awesome. That is so cool. The blends in the beginning too. It's almost like a parting sea.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes into that kind of darker green. That is great. That is really, really nice.
I remember I had an idea once for using like making like paintings like that.
Yep.
And then making it into like a weird just like abstract board game.
Right.
And then a part of the board game was you had to add to the map. And then I think it was also like something you would like pass on to different people.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like you play, you add to it, and then you pass it on.
Oh, cool. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I always thought that would be like really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds fun. Sounds really fun. Yeah, those are great. Those
Yeah.
look really, really cool.
Yeah, these are fun ones.
Great job.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I got to make that table a little more stable.
Well, I shouldn't have leaned on it.
Well, I like the idea. You should be able to lean. You know, I want the idea of these things to also be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got some work to do on that. How are we doing on time?
Coming along. 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is really good. Yeah. So we saw two types of kind of art that we do here at the space.
Yeah.
You know, that's on top of other things, and we have other artists that come in and do very similar things or completely different things. But
Yeah.
that's
Very
the idea of this
versatile.
space. Yeah, absolutely. But again, and you know, we do have the space, and that's very helpful. But I recycled those pieces of like furniture, you know, that I just had laying around. If I didn't have the space, I'd be doing it outside of my apartment.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or something like that, you know, or so you always have like, maybe you don't always have the space or the time even to do these things, but it's smaller stuff, you know. When you're sitting around, just come up with an idea like of something, maybe if you want to. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
Or
It's very
if you want to paint or do something abstract, you know, I think that'd be a really fun episode. I know you'd be like kind of a highlight in it, in the idea of like, let's say you don't know anything about painting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are some fun things you can do with I bumped into an idea the other day using charcoal dust on water.
Oh yeah.
And letting that
sounds
dry
so fun.
in different formations, in different forms, you know, and the pour paint is like an interactive. It's fun. It's like you have an awesome thing on the blog too about finger painting.
Oh yeah.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have it access of it that you can read it?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a nice way to wrap up the show. So we have a blog. Well, Kaylee has a blog.
Well, we have a website. For the space and people that are here and stuff. It doesn't have a heck of a lot on it right now, but it's breadsandcircus.org if you want to check it out.
Breads and Circus.
It's called Bread and Circus, but I couldn't get that web address. But Breads and Circus is will be multiple breads.
It's a great website. It looks really good. We have tons of videos from other artists that have been in and out of here, that work with us here. Other artists who are affiliated with videos. Kaylee does her daily, or are they daily blogs or?
I try to post on the blog like once a week.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I'm gonna grab the picture just so I can show that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, perfect. Yeah. So Kaylee will do these blogs, and then have an image attached to them. They look really nice. And this one, oh, they don't all have images. I'm sorry.
This particular one did because it worked.
Let me switch this.
With what I was doing. So
nice.
This is the painting.
And let me
just finger painting that I did.
Yeah.
Just for fun. I was feeling like doing something. Let
me zoom into that a little bit. Get some zoom in action here. Oh yeah. That's finger paint.
And it actually started. I was doing a pour paint, and I dumped like a ton of paint on it, and then I was like, oh, this painting can now be my palette, and I can just do some finger painting on some paper because that sounds fun right now.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
So I just like smudged my hands around on some.
Yeah, it looks like exploding hands.
Yeah, it's like really swirly and stuff.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which is cool. So I'm gonna put that down.
That's great. All right, so keep that image in your mind as Kaylee recites. Would you say it's a poem or just a writing?
Yeah, it's just like a the kind of stream of conscious, just blurb.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't think we're ever too old to finger paint. It's one of the most satisfying hands-on experiences, using tools we're born with to release the energy within which words can't quite be put to. Simple yet cathartic to make a mess of yourself just for the fun of it. It's easy to shy away from these activities as if they must be justified or well defined to take up time. By golly, though, to let go, to make something crude or useless, to try something new and not feel foolish. Or do, that's good too, because it's you. Limitless, save the inner critic. And that's it.
Mm,
And it's called Hands On.
that's brilliant.
Mm.
That's really, really nice. I love that. That gives me and Kaylee, I think, is a brilliant writer, and very, very creative writer. So I don't think it'd be a bad idea, and we'll bring this up with Abel
Mm.
if maybe you keep us abreast of your weekly vlogs,
Oh,
and you can
yeah.
read them.
That would be fun. That'd be good practice too, because sometimes I'm like with like reading out loud.
Oh, there you go. You did great there. But that really sums up a lot of things that we talked about, especially with painting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It also reminds me of something that my dad would have written.
Yeah.
It's really great, and it's that's really awesome. Very, very nice. Well, I think it's appropriate to end the podcast with that. That was really nice.
Yeah, thank you.
So we saw some craft,
Mm-hmm.
some things, some
good
woodwork,
projects,
some
yeah.
cool projects. Actuators are awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Definitely, definitely think of what I can do more with actuators.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw a flaw in that design, my little table design, then definitely let me know what I can do to fix it. But
We'll
otherwise,
keep you posted on the progress of it too.
yeah, I'll show it next week. Or when we go back to I think we should come back to show and tell.
Yeah,
It'd be a
I
good
think
idea
that'd be
for
fun.
Abel too. I think Abel would
Mhm.
want to show some of
Because we
his.
still want to figure out some other technical things too, so that'll be good.
Oh
Good
yeah,
motivation
maybe
for
get a
that.
document camera of some sort, or at least a view of a overhead view of something. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and Rob
good.
said he played chess on that table and lost.
Woo.
It was a good game though.
Ooh, craft
Yeah,
segments.
craft segments would
Yeah.
be great.
Mhm.
They really would. And we're thinking of ideas for next week and
Yeah.
weeks to follow. We will not have Abel for some time.
Anybody wants to be a guest? Come on down.
Yes, definitely. I talked to Justin,
Mhm.
and we had a great idea. Great idea. We were thinking
Ooh.
of to talk about with him.
Okay.
And Justin, this would be great for us to, now that we have kind of a switching setup. We could utilize images that we find online,
Okay.
and maybe books that we have already, but cool sci-fi book covers.
Oh.
They go so far back. I mean, I was immediately thinking of really old ones from like the 50s, and so was Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a really great one. So next Tuesday, yeah, sci-fi book cover art. Yeah. And I think that will be a great lead into, and we have plenty of things to show.
Mm-hmm.
Goes into graphic novel. So also we can also go into maybe offshoot, digress to like just cool book cover art.
Mm-hmm.
But sci-fi book
Absolutely.
cover art is just awesome. It's just
Yeah.
really, really cool.
I love that. That's a great
Sometimes the
idea.
book cover art is better than the actual sci-fi book itself, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And in many times it's it's a perfect pair. But anyways,
Yeah.
ideas, send them our way if you have ideas for
Mhm.
different things. Craft segments, love that, Justin. Sci-fi book cover art,
Yeah.
we'll definitely do. Let us know if you are good for next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll be here.
And if next
We'll
Tuesday
be here.
we'll be in here. If next Tuesday doesn't work, it's there'll be a few Tuesdays where we'll need the
Mhm.
coverage.
Yeah.
Abel, we miss you terribly.
Yes, we do.
I hope you've been enjoying this and we haven't ruined the show. Well, I don't think we have. I think
No.
it was good. It was really great, and thank you all for watching.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
We will see you next week. You want to do the jingle?
And we'll jingle out.
Hanging out just another night of the week. Or to be more specific, it's a Tuesday Eve. Got some ideas that just might intrigue. You should come on by tonight. We're spilling the beans.
Let's not do it.